Kevin Zegers. This is
Jamie Campbell Bower.
We are here promoting Mortal Instruments City Bones. Comes out August 21st to a theater near
you.
Do you think a demon infestation would be different in Chicago versus New York?
There'd be a lot more pleases and thank yous.
That's amazing.
Right? And everyone would be wearing a coat most of the time.
There'd be suave demons, sharp demons.
And the wind would cause a lot of messy hair.
That's true. That's true. They'd probably be bald demons then.
Probably, yeah.
That's what people worry about when there's demons all over the place, is how their hair looks.
Exactly, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I'd be worried about.
That's what I was worried about most of the movie.
Yeah, me too. That's why you wear a hat.
Exactly, that's why I'm wearing a hat today.
You guys have talked about really bonding as a cast and sort of feeling protective of each other. When's the time when you felt like you had to be protective of each other?
I think on set, when there's a lot of fight scenes and choreography and stunts going on, you naturally have to be aware of your environment anyway, the sort of, spatial awareness. But then also, if somebody gets a ding or if it looks like it's going sort of a little bit out of shape, then one of us would call it off, even if it wasn't us. Like we go, okay, so let's just stop this right now.
For example?
Well, for example, I mean, there's a scene in the Hotel de Moore, and it was very much like it was late at night when we were shooting it, and we needed to get it done, but I think I remember they were like, let's just go for it, and I think we all bonded together and we were like, we're just going to need like 15 minutes just to go through this, because otherwise one of us could get hurt. Because I've worked on jobs before. I broke my ankle on a job because it was rushed, and like a choreography scene was rushed and we didn't have time, so
yeah,
we're all very aware of that. So we do get quite protective of each other, and also in another sense about the protection of each other, we when we're doing scenes together, we're very aware of sort of whose scene it is. It's not, for instance, if it's a scene that's poignant for Kevin's character, none of us are gonna like jump in there and be like, oh, I think I should get a close up at this point because my reaction is really important. Which is that doesn't happen all the time, because sometimes you unfortunately work with people that want to get in on every shot. I've worked with people that have appeared like
their head's always in the
but they're like 360 degrees. You go, how did you get from behind me to behind the character I'm talking to?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
This acting style in general usually doesn't work out very well.
There's a lot more than you'd think, though, who do that. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's rare to find a group of people who are all sort of, I think we just all wanted to make a good film, and I think a lot of times you go in thinking like, this would be a great thing for me. I'm guilty of it myself. Sometimes you go in and you say like, this is a great character piece for me. I like the character, and you sort of go in and that's your sole focus. But I think for all of us, we were sort of aware that in order for this to work in general, the film needs to be good. And so, like he was saying, it's servicing whichever actor the scene is sort of focused on. I remember the scene I shot with Lily. I remember Jamie and Jemima and Robbie. They were on my close-up. We were about to start shooting another film. But they were all standing behind the monitor watching, and it's just sort of this kind of community feeling of like, people rooting for each other's success, rather than sort of going like, oh, I could have done that better.
Well, Jamie, it seems like you had really intense training, and Kevin Alec has this violent, ferocious fighting style. What would it be like if you two battled?
Be like that scene in Bridget Jones's Diary where they just like slap each other a little bit. Be like that.
Probably.
It's a real fight. Be like that. Yeah.
We'd probably both be wearing hockey helmets, so that's not make each other's faces up.
Well, yeah, there'd be a lot of scratching.
Well, who do you
mostly body blows?
Who would win between Jason and Alec?
I mean, I grew up in Canada playing hockey, so I actually was, and because of I was a young actor, so I got picked on an awful lot. So I was forced to fight a lot when I was a kid. I don't know about you, Jamie.
I grew up in the English countryside. I know how to shear sheep. That's about it, man.
How about between Jason and Alec, who would win?
I think it would be an even battle. I think they both got very specific styles. Jace is very wily, very fast, very. It seems unpredictable, but I think it's actually quite. He's very conscious of what he's doing. Whereas Alec is very strong, isn't he? I mean, he's like
he's sort of like a Alec sort of does that. He's like why take 10 swings when you can take one and sort of kill the guy? Whereas I think Jace's character, when you see him fight, it's such a beautiful, because he's such a long guy anyway. You sort of see him sort of moving around, and it's this sort of like beautifully choreographed, but he's still sort of wild. But Alec is a much more sort of like, you know, you see him sort of come in and you know, he'll stab someone and it's sort of over quite quickly. So, and I think we based a lot of that on who we are physically. The stunt coordinator was very specific about, you know, my size and, you know, the things that I do well versus the things that Jamie does well. I mean, obviously based in the book also, but a lot of what we did was sort of tailored to what our strengths are anyways. And so, you know, the way that I am and the way that the physically the way that I am was very suited to the way that I would fight, and I think Jamie did the same thing.
Yeah.
So it ends up sort of working out. And you can also see that it's us, which we wanted to be able to do. I hate when they cut away and you see some guy who's clearly not the guy with some stupid wig on or face replacement or something like that. And so it's a little messier when you watch the fighting, but it's much more organic and it's much more violent and it's much more impactful, I think, for the audience because they can see that it's us.
Well, we're dealing with angels and half angels here and all sorts of craziness. Who's your favorite Victoria's Secret angel, and how do you think Jason Alec would defend them?
Who's my favourite Victoria's Secret? I went to school with Cara Delevingne. She's a Victoria's Secret angel, so she's personally my favourite because she was like my little sister growing up.
And I follow her on Instagram, so I'd say her as well.
Did you know that Jamie knew her?
I didn't, no.
Well, I'll set you guys up.
By the way, just like Lily, she has great eyebrows.
She does, yeah, she does have good brows.
Who would be better at protecting her between Jason and Alec?
Probably him because he knows her, yeah.
We could probably look after her.
She's a little one.
She's quite small, yeah, exactly.
Peanut.
She is a little peanut, yeah.
Well, I believe Alec has some feelings for Jace and their adopted siblings. Spoiler alert, I think Clary and Jace are also siblings, but she has feelings for him.
Right.
What is this movie saying about sibling relationships?
Incest is best, but can your grandma take the test? That's effectively that's the tagline. That was the tagline we originally went for, but we changed it
to "You have been chosen."
Yeah.
By your sister.
Well, we find out we find out in the book series. We find out later on that Jace and Clary aren't brother and sister. So it's okay.
But they think they are.
But they think they are. Yeah, and I think that's for Jace. That's his sort of his biggest demon. No matter what he has to fight, is the love that he has for. I haven't said this before, and it's quite a delicious line actually. You know, his biggest demon is the love that he has for this girl, and the fact that he can't. It's almost not. It's not unrequited. It's just taboo.
Right. And I think we sort of switched. I mean, Alec does clearly have feelings for him, but we switched it from just being this sort of like hollow like sexual attraction thing, because I think for me at least there was a lot of that in the book, and I felt like in order to create like a dynamic character, I especially if you have a gay character, I feel like the notion that they're just sort of like walking around and like attracted to every guy, and I think the dynamic that Jamie and I have helped sort of steer the way that Alec's feelings towards him are. It has nothing to do with me wanting to jump Jamie. It's more this kind of brotherly. I mean, certainly there's other feelings involved, but it's not this like pulsating sexual dynamic that I have like we do personally.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. Good.
I was going to say,
but you know, I think we were able to sort of tailor our characters based on our own relationships, and I think, you know, Lily and Jamie have such a great thing, but it's not, you know, I think we were able to sort of find it in a way that wasn't so forced, and you know, it's not me sort of sitting behind Jamie like checking out his arse every time he walks by.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a lot. There's a lot. The attraction is it's not aesthetic. It's not skin deep. It's very much it's more spiritual than that. Which is why the characters go through the torment. Because if Alec, for instance, just wanted to sleep with Jace, when it's addressed, it would be hollow, like Kevin says, and if it was the same for Jace and Clary, then it wouldn't really mean as much, and that's why there is confliction between all these characters.
So it won't be awkward for people to see this movie with a sibling or something then?
No, I don't think so. No, not unless Not unless you're planning on snogging them.
Right.
Which would just be awkward.
Yeah, which should be weird anyway. Exactly.
And it's completely their own business.
Exactly. Yeah. You know. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Whatever you're into, whatever. You know. Whatever.
Exactly. As long as you go buy tickets.
Well, Jake, you said you didn't realize how much of Jace you had, and you kind of opened up a dark side you didn't know was there. How did you recognize that, and what does this mean for the future?
I think acting for me is an incredibly cathartic process anyway, because I do get to explore sides of me that I don't explore on a daily basis anyway. So with Jace, I made him very dark. I made him very brooding and dangerous, and it sort of he got under my skin quite a bit. You know, he definitely got into me, and it was great that I was aware of that, and I was able to, once we finished shooting, take myself away and just I went to Bali and didn't go find myself again, but I just needed a little bit of R&R.
To make sure you were not like a dark person.
Well, yeah, just to sort of like release it and just let it go. But it's great that I know that that's there. So coming back for movie 2, that I'm able to tap into it and able to not let it take over my life in such a big way.
Mm-hmm. Kevin, do you like talking about the kind of maybe the first time people saw you, some of those kids' sports movies, or do you prefer to not think about them?
To me, it's like it's part. Whatever part of your story is, it is. I am. There's many things I'm grateful of for having started when I was 6, which is that I'm comfortable on set. There's a lot of things that have been a huge benefit to me. I've made a lot of mistakes when I was younger, and I'm now able to this is all a bit overwhelming. You go to these malls and there's people screaming, and there's we went to Comic-Con and it's all a bit wild.
There's a big poster of your face.
Right, there's that, but I think because I've had found some success when I was like 12, and then again when I was 20, I think you sort of learn how, and not many people get a couple of cracks at this thing. So if anything, I'm grateful that it's very easy to sort of lose yourself in this, and then you kind of never get another go at it. So for me, it's different. It's different every time it comes back around, and I think it's helpful for me that this is not totally new for me. And I think also just being on set, there's 150 guys standing around, and if you're not used to being on set, I'm much more comfortable on set than I am in my own personal life. It's just kind of where I grew up, so it makes it easier for me to do my job.
Real fast, which is more likely, a dog playing basketball or a monkey playing hockey?
The monkey playing hockey was actually much easier to do, I have to say, because they're a lot more like us. Did you know I did a movie with a monkey that played hockey?
No, now I do.
Grade A.
What's it called?
Most Valuable Primate.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it.
You should.
What team did the monkey play for?
Mine.
Your team, obviously.
He was my monkey. Chimpanzee. We're not supposed to call them monkeys.
Oh, really? They get offended?
Well, the animal people do, because they're not monkeys.
The animal people.